of the grounds among the established clubs in the French Championship, but that doesn't make it an easy place to visit. Indeed, when the hosts and their fans are in the mood, it can be just as menacing as Clermont or Toulon. For Ulster, it's a frosty welcome, literally and metaphorically. They, though, will have their sights fixed on the road ahead, a route they hope that will lead them to a home quarter-final. Well, there is the scene. I say it's a frosty welcome, literally. Well, the temperatures have picked up a little bit in the last few hours, though it is very blustery. With a budget of almost 16 million euros, Castres can cope with injuries, afford to rest a few, and even hand a debut to a teenager without compromising quality. The new man is 19-year-old flanker Mathieu Babillot, while among those getting a rare start is Pedri Vandenberg, whose last match for Ulster was last season's final at Twickenham. Loose head prop Yannick Forestier is one of the two Castres players we can expect to see involved in the Six Nations. The other, fullback Brice Dulin, has been left out of the 23. Wings Marcel Garvey and Max Evans both get a run. Well, Ulster have got problems with absentees, and this selection demonstrates that Mark Anscombe is not frightened to mix things up a bit as well. There are 4 personnel changes plus 2 positional switches. Let's deal with those first. Fly half Paddy Jackson had been an injury doubt, but we've been told his omission is made on merit. Ruan Pinar moves from 9 to 10. Craig Gilroy is deployed at fullback in place of Jared Payne, who was injured last week. Wing Michael Allen gets his first Heineken Cup start, while Neil McComb is preferred at lock to Ian Henderson. It's going to be a very thorough examination, and among the replacements, well, Joe Takori and Marc Andreu are 2 regular starters for Castres lurking in the wings. Declan Fitzpatrick is one of 3 Ulster replacements who are in the island squad for the Six Nations. So it's the start of a Super Saturday, the last Saturday in the pool phase of the Heineken Cup. It all gets underway here about an hour down the road from Toulouse. It's a classic French rugby town. The winding roads from the big city of Toulouse take you to really rugby heartland, and this club time and time again produces the goods in the top 14 but tends to fall a little bit short in Europe. But here, wearing red today, the men from Ulster, they're already into the quarterfinals, but they will cherish so much the opportunity to get out there and seal a home tie.
They will. Ulster again on the march. 3 quarterfinals in as many years is just reward for the once champions of Europe. Their first Heineken Cup victory in France, and Ravenhill will rejoice today and welcome a possible home draw. Time will be given to certain bodies to heal before they once again push for the summit, refreshed and refocused.
Well, the Marshall-Pinar combination is how things finished last weekend when they beat Glasgow and pushed in the last few minutes for that bonus point try that would have made their task here a little more comfortable. But here, leading out Castres, Matthias Roland, one of the veterans, came with the 2 coaches, Laurent Lebitte and Laurent Travers, when they moved on from Montemar a few seasons ago. And we understand Matthias Roland may well be moving into almost an administrative capacity next season when he becomes the team manager. That's Brice Mack, the replacement hooker, greeting them as they go out onto the pitch. It's not a full Stade Pierre-Antoine, so I suppose you could say that's one element that works the way of Ulster.
Yeah, but there are 3 losses on the bounce. They demand a victory today, but Castres, 4th in the French 14, are quite happy with their lot. They view Europe as a slight distraction, have not ventured from their pool for the last 6 years. However, they are as proud animal at home, and only mighty Toulouse have toppled them this season. Industry is the backbone of the region. Industrial would be the best way to describe their rugby approach.
Well, there is the referee, Nigel Owens. His trip down to Castres started on Thursday night. He was supposed to fly out of Bristol on Friday morning. Those flights didn't happen. There is Jan Muller. And this match, we understand, came maybe about a week too soon for him. He's had a plate fitted in his arm. It's been a problem throughout his rugby career. But he will be back in the next couple of weeks or so. But will he be back in April for a home tie? And there, well, it's going to be an emotional day, particularly down the road at Montpellier. And that's spilling over here. Eric Béchu the former coach at Albi, and most recently the assistant to Fabien Galtier at Montpellier, being remembered here in Castres. And Pinard gets us underway, and it's straight to Rory Cockett, and with his hands on the ball, and it hasn't happened too many times this season from the start for Castres, Pedri Vandenberg. Thalès, the fly half, Saramaia Bay, the former Clermont-Auvergne player. Being caught just a little bit high there, the referee playing advantage. No malice, but certainly was high. Forward goes Thalès. Yes, you mentioned that defeat here a couple of days before the new year for Castres against Toulouse, which was something of a surprise because Toulouse were on a poor run, and that will have stung Castres because the platform for their success is their home record. They rarely get beaten here. And the pitch in really good nick as well.
Yeah, compared to last night, it's that swamp in Biarritz, but they want to play today, Cass. You can see them slipping the ball, forwards and backs. Cockett in charge there, ball coming back quickly.
Thalès out to Bay again. Here's an opportunity for Garvey, a man with an outstanding try-scoring record in the Premiership in England. Hasn't had so many chances here. Cockett with a little offload. He finds Thalès. Thalès feeds it back. Garvey again in space, gets a chance at a run. Taken within 5 or 6 metres of the 22. Well, it's gone back and gone back legally. Robbie Dyack it was who came away with it. Marshall on from the start. Out wide, opportunity here, that's Cave. Cave's got Pinard, a little grubber through. Well, the execution, I think, was not as good as it might have been, and the full-back was well positioned, Pierre Bernard. Full-back to full-back. Craig Gilroy. Vandenberg had read that well.
A cracking start to the game. South Africans in control with Pinard's long kick-off. Cockett taking the ball into Wanneberg, ex-Ulster, and that time eventually getting the ball back, turning it over, and Wanneberg back at the full-back role. So both sides carving out a few breaks early on. Sounds good for the rest of the game.
Yes, I think Vandenberg will be keen to make a point here because this is only his 5th start for his new club. He's been competing for the 8 jersey with Tony Klaassen, who is so highly regarded. Pinard with a cross kick. Well, he's got quite a forceful wind at his back in this first half as Ruben Pinard. And he rather overcooked that one.
Going from right to left, the crucial role. I think his box kicking against Glasgow last weekend was superb from 9. This is Marcel Garvey on the break. Ex of Gloucester and Worcester, they know all about him. Tongue out. He'll want the ball in his hands a little bit more than he had last week at the Gardens. But coming back to Pinard, I think this is my personal preferred combination at half-back with Marshall's pace around the base and his good skill set of his box kicking and his short game. And then you give Pinard the long ball game, which again, so crucial, as we've seen in the conditions down at Biarritz last night, and it will be same here, not the wet, but obviously the wind.
Yes, very different nines, Paul Marsh and Ruben Pinard, and I think they've gone for tempo at 9 and temperament at 10 today.
And this is where it'll be won or lost as well, in the scrum. That's a good hit from Ulster. It's a great hit.
And they've got themselves a penalty. And straight downwind. This will certainly be within range, even on a pitch which it is in very good condition. But it's a little bit damp, certainly around the edges. Well,
doesn't fancy it. He was kicking him from a long way in the warm-up, but that's a good intent, and that's one way you want to silence the crowd. Any French crowd, especially Castres down here, is shunt them back at the set piece. And this is a good hit. Getting in, the power comes, and that's brilliant. Brilliant from a foe of the World Cup winner. Crumples the Castres forwards.
There is Laurent Travers himself, a Heineken Cup winner. That's going back a few years now, back in his days when he was playing as a hooker for Brive.
Thomas Castanet was telling me a funny story about those two, and I'll tell you in a minute. The two coaches that got to Racing.
So Rory Best hits his man, it was Dyack. But the whistle has gone.
What was that for? Not straight? Yes, it was not straight. The wind's got hold of it. It wasn't the ball going backwards, obviously, that was fine, but conditions are going to be testing, to say the least.
Castres won the toss. So Ulster find them playing with the wind at their backs in this first 40. And it's crucial, the statement of the obvious, that they make the most of it in this opening half hour. And that may be a way they can dampen the enthusiasm of the Frenchmen, who will have in the backs of their mind the fact that the top 14 for them resumes on Thursday when they're down at Bayonne. And with that poor run, they're desperate to get a result down there.
If they want to dampen them, like I'm saying, they'll do it in this scrum. Court, Best, Afoa, two locked behind Stevenson and McComb. There's the boys, they're happy to be out here, cheering on their men.
Well, according to Philippe Saint-André, and I'm judging him on the basis of his selections in November, John Afoa is up against the best loosehead in France.
Running round red, drive square please.
Running it round, says Nigel Owens. Penalty to Castres. There's Yannick Forestier, you can see him there as he always does, wearing those black mitts. He's the loosehead who it seems likely will start the Six Nations for France.
Ralliot be in the middle, the third choice hooker. Well, again, is there any bad hookers in France?
No, and Ralliet has spent periods when he's been first pick. There's Joe Takori at the back.
He'll be on soon. Well, second half.
And there's Romain Michal, you can see on the left. He's the 6'4" wing. When you pop down to training and see him run out, you say, well, that's one of the locks.
I did that with Rougerie once. I said, who's that second row? He said, no, he's the winger.
Good line-out ball there for Castres. There is Jeremiah Bai, who is such a steadying influence there in the midfield, combining with Lamora. There goes Rory Cockett. Bai again. Onto Rollin. Bai. Little chip over the top. Hasn't really worked. Nobody got underneath it. Picked up by Max Evans, but there was a tackle there off the ball.
Lamray. No ball, taking the man out in the air, and this is where, as I said about weathering the storm, we're just going to stay in this. Don't slip off any tackles because they'll come wave after wave after wave, Castres, but they'll get frustrated if they don't get any points or tries. So it's just about absorbing the pressure they put on there. There's the little chip from Bai. There's Mike Allen, taken out in the air. Not dangerous, but that's a penalty.
Yes, Remy Lamora was the guilty party, but Jeremiah Bai, I think they're acknowledging that his kick led to it. So let's see if Rory Best can find his man with this one. Christophe Sampson was up there competing, and Ruben Pinard has knocked it on. Vandenberg out to Bai. There's Bernard coming in. Referee says the advantage is over. There's Varselelli. Two loose forwards on either side of the back row. Big, powerful men today for Castres. There's Garvey again. Crowd on the far side think that was a little high from Andrew Trimble, but in all honesty, Marcel Garvey, not one of the tallest players.
No,
in
he wasn't
rugby.
at all. He was committed, and again, it was a good contact.
Tales. There goes Varselelli again.
Men short on this side.
Telles by Vandenberg. In that role which we saw him in so often for Ulster. Good hands from Telles, releasing Evans. Evans, little flip inside, that was very skillful. Forestier, and here's Lamora. And Lamora is going to get the opening try for Castres, playing into the wind. And that is a real body blow for Ulster.
All about just recycling the ball and the direction of Cockett. Rory Cockett, the South African at 9. You think initially they've gone the wrong way. All the big forwards are out on the left. Decision to go down the blind side was absolutely correct. And a lovely slip hand that just came in there. Just have to have a look at that man who's just actually committed himself. Forestier, look at that for a prop. Good shoulder. And then he's just over the line.
Well, that's a very special moment for Remy Lamora, who's had two very serious knee injuries, that both of which would have finished a lesser man. Picked up the first of those when he was playing for Toulouse, now in his second season here for Castres.
And the indecision came between Paddy Wallace and Ruben Pienaar. on that blindside. Pina jumping in, he should have just stayed off the man and slid across, and that just allowed the space to open up. And Cockett, well, he very rarely misses, doesn't he?
Well, he's firing here at a moving target. The two uprights moving in the wind. Just one man has scored more points in France than this fella, a certain Jay Wilkinson. But he snatched at that a bit and the wind took it wide.
There's Max Evans. Great ball, good hands, beautiful play. Again, just straight lines of running, drawing the man in, passing. Simple try. Created from, I've got to say, Cockett's vision to go down the blind side.
Yes, Lamara getting his third straight start for Castres today, and I reckon that's the first time he's started 3 straight matches for more than 2 years. Missed much of the season 2 seasons ago. Then when he'd got over his first knee problems, picked up another serious knee injury in what I think was his first match for Castres. But here he is. Castres have been patient with him, and he was in the right place there, as was Pedri Vandenberg. Here's Tales again, out to Seremaya Bay.
All hands to the pump now for Ulster. The tails are up, the cast tails are up. Wanneberg to the fore, leading. And they're getting the penalty back this time. 6, it's the youngster, the 19-year-old. Babio.
Not been a bad week for him, actually. On Monday, he got the call to be told you're in the France under-20 squad. And then on Thursday, he was told you're making a debut in the Heineken Cup.
It's the best way to do it, isn't it? You haven't got time to think then. This is good. You see Trimble in the wrong side, 6. Babio he's come in from the side, not Trimble. Is it Wallace out the way? But this is the sleight of hand. There's Pinard going in, and Wallace is caught. Max Evans on the outside, and then it's just slipping the ball. Beautiful pass from Talley, and then just a good support line from Forestier, handing the ball to Lamarais.
Yes, Castres not known for scoring many tries. That's just their 6th in the competition, and there you go. Get some idea of just how blowy it is. There's a very brave fella up in the air to our right, providing you with those pictures. So Pinard, and that is a very firm strike indeed. Under the circumstances, and I'm talking both about the weather and the match situation, that was crucial.
That's a tremendous strike. It wasn't hip and hoped. He knows exactly where the elements are coming and what they would give him. Beautiful strike of the ball.
So it's 5 points to 3 here at the Stade Pierre-Antoine. Andrew Trimble. And that will be into the supermarket over on the far side.
If you're going to get it out, get it out. Trimble, I don't know how much ball he'll have. He'll be doing a lot of defending this afternoon. Like you said, absorbing the big wave and the big runners. Good conditions out there, apart from the wind.
There's Marc-Antoine Rallier, who's not the conventional build for hooker, very tall man. The two centres combining, drive up towards the Ulster 22. There's Rory Cockett in position, Tallez. 13 minutes gone. Castres will have been reminded that their long run of success here at home was ended in their last home game 2 days before the new year, when they lost that surprise result against Toulouse. Cockett to Bay. There's Pedri Vandenberg. Vandenberg, who actually had a cup of coffee with a few of his old mates from Ulster yesterday, after Castres had done their captain's run over on their training ground in the afternoon. Good possession here from the French side. There's Tallez. Best and Arfoa doing their jobs there, but Nigel Owens telling them to get out the way. Just missing out Sampson. That was Farsalelli. Here's Lamara, the try scorer. Chris Henry just getting bounced off. Yannick Forestier, by the way, has taken a bit of a knock for Castres. Tales. Farsalelli again.
I feel there's a bit of a softening up process going on there by the Castres forwards and backs, actually. Some of them are as big as the forwards.
Tales kicking that, gathered by Garvey, and Garvey looked inside and he wanted an inside run-up. But I think the rest of the Castres players are rather given up on that one.
I think that was the wrong option because they're doing so much good work with the ball in hand. That's a chip in. Trimble doesn't really read it, but again, he gets back in time. And a combination of Gilroy and Trimble just do enough. And Rory Best just walking now, collecting the thoughts, getting the calls right. And a good exit strategy from here. They've been under the cosh a wee bit, but they've got that penalty, so it's not looking too bad, but plenty of time to go.
Yes, and with events in the other pool match, with Glasgow leading Northampton, Castres, who really are an outside hope for a place in the quarter-finals, but as things stand, they are there or thereabouts. It's not a pool which on the whole has produced many tries. In fact, that try from Lamara was just the 28th in the entire pool, which is the same number of tries as Harlequins produced in their half-dozen matches.
Rory Best missing a second line out, so that's why they find themselves in this situation.
That side, you move to where you're going to go in, and then when we have the problem, okay? Thank you. The scrum is inside.
Well, that's how things stand at the moment, with Glasgow leading Northampton by 6 points to 3. And with Castres, the other of the two bottom sides, leading here. That is how it leaves things. Castres now on 17 points as things stand, which for now here, in the early stages of, well, it's still the early stages of this final weekend, are in a qualifying spot. Leicester momentarily being relegated. There's Matthias Roller up to the 22. Have to emphasise that wind out there is very hard indeed, and Castres are playing into it. There goes Vandenberg. Cocker pops it up to Roller. And you have to say Castres are really up for this. Tales out to Evans, mindful that he was very close to the touchline. But a flag is out. And Nigel Owens, I think, is going to have a little chat here.
Have a breather and stop proceedings. We'll just listen in.
Well, I saw him half-heartedly something, but yeah, no attempt to tackle. Penalty against Red 12.
As Paddy Wallace has been earmarked. I think it was a swinging arm on his old
12.
teammate, Vandenberg.
Time out.
I don't think there was anything in it, and I think it will just be a penalty, but discipline crucial.
Whatever intention was, when you go up by you like this, okay, you take the consequence of your action. Keep your tackles down and you attempt to tackle, please, okay? Nowhere near from here up. Back you go.
Well, he took his talking to, but did appear a little puzzled by it, didn't he?
Have you ever seen anyone go, oh yes, of course, thank you very much, yeah, I was a naughty boy. It's just trying to milk the situation. But again, they are building, and it's always one big runner, isn't it? If it's not Vandenberg, it's a Sampson, it's a Roland, it's a Forestier. There's always options, and those two big centres, Bai and Lamare, just options all over the place, because again, at the moment, they're not flying up Ulster, they're just keeping their line, they're keeping their structure, and trying to absorb these, like I said, wave after wave of Castres power play.
Well, those posts in front of Rory Cocker are still a moving target. Snatched at his first one. Focus on the non-kicking foot. Stay down on it. And that was rather better from the South African. as Rory Cockett. Just Johnny Wilkinson having scored more points in the top 14 this season. There is Laurent Lebitte, he's the backs coach here at Castres.
Ex-Shark's not doing too badly, is he? Coming back to those two coaches that are going to, there they are, they're going to Racing Metro, so to Thomas Castres. He said they spend 1 day a week down at Racing Metro deciding who's staying and who's going as far as the players. Only in France. And they're still obviously coaching here at Castres.
And that was Gilroy taking it into the contact. There's Pinar missing out Wallace, out to Cade. Little stab through there for Trimble.
It's what they need, a little bit ball in hand, but then just kicking the ball away. It's just be good for their players just to feel the ball. Make Castres think about their tackling game.
And there is Jan Muller. Such a talisman for Ulster on that long and ever-growing injury list. Jared Payne with a groin injury. Nick Williams, the knee, which requires surgery. That after last week's win at Glasgow. Then the long-termers, Stephen Ferris, Tommy Bowe, Dan Toohey, of course. So 2 international second rowers.
And what's that, 5, 6 really frontline big players, big ball carriers. But, you know, they know they're up against it. And if they were to get a result down here as Harlequins did against Biarritz, it sets them up for this competition and also the rest of the season.
Well, that was rather intricate, I must say, from Lammer, and that was superb. He's looking for the offload there from Evans, but it's gathered by Allen. Castres trying to play there in their own 22.
Well, the crowd are getting very vociferous and very vocal, as they normally do down here. There's nothing wrong with this. Again, a good break. They're slipping the ball. That's lovely skill. The try scorer. And Evans. Oh dear, Mike Allen there just missing the man. Pinar doing well, but he comes back and sorts the situation out. There was no ruck form, so he's allowed to do that. Not protecting the ball. Max Evans trying to slang the ball back inside. It's good play really at the end then from Ulster.
It was better line-out ball. The drive there from Roger Wilson. Wilson to know what it takes to come here to Castres and get a win in round 6. He did it 2 years ago for Northampton, when Northampton came here and made it 6 wins out of 6 in the pool phase.
And this is what they need to do. The old pick and drive, right up the guts, right up the middle. That's better.
It's the best phase of play so far for Ulster. The long pass out there to Trimble. Trimble straight into Forestier. He still kept hold of his leg. Marshall feeding it out that time to Wilson again. They're within 7 metres now, are Ulster. This is better.
Yard by yard, inch by inch. Just keep hold of the ball. First time really that it's suspended sort of time with the ball in hand.
There's Marshall. Just trying to duck under. It's still there. But the referee's awarded a penalty. And it's Castres failing to get away, roll away from it. And it's Anton Pekrishvili, the Georgia international. There he is.
Yeah, but surely Ulster had the advantage. They're picking the ball and going forward. You know, hold out your hand. You can always come back for that infringement. Now this will be interesting. You take the clock down, you take the 3 points, and you're going to go into the corner. I think they fancy it. Look at this. This is good play. Going for the scrum. Marshall there, he's just given the penalty away, but there's still an advantage. Trimble against Garvey, powers through. Good sustained play. Right.
Well, Ulster are backing themselves here. Through the first quarter. With a very healthy breeze at their backs. They're trailing by 5. They know they need the points. And of course, they're coming here looking for 4 tries. Bonus point win will guarantee Ulster a home quarter-final. Marshall with a put-in. Powerful drive. Barcelelli. He's been penalised.
You've got to stay bound to the scrum. He's come round. He's got to keep bound to the second row, as Nigel Owen saying there, but that was a good scrummage from Ulster. They turned down the line out. Remember, Rory Best is at 2. Slightly off skew, throws. The wind is pretty strong out there. They've gone for the tight game, they've gone for the set piece. There it goes. You can see the guy on the outside is the youngster. It's the other one, Fesavzili. He's got to be bound with the whole length of his arm, so I'm sure they're going to go for another scrum.
Roger Wilson having taken a little bit of a knock, but more of the same. That is what is called for here. There was the penalised player, Fiola Farsalelli, a summer recruit from La Rochelle. Ulster have never won a Heineken Cup match in France. The best they've done, a draw with Toulouse 13 years ago. The power again. Nigel Owens urging them to use it.
You've got to reset it again. Cockett is absolutely... If I call use it, you're going to use it. Well, we understand that. The trouble was the ball went back into in the 8th feet, Roger Wilson there. Good hit, and then Cockett was explaining and exploding that Court had gone up on this side. There it goes, it's in, and communication, so he's done the right thing. Give a penalty the first time, this time it's just a reset. Is there enough space for Marshall to snipe around the blind side? Probably not. Trimble's just standing almost directly behind the scrum. Pienaar obviously to his left, and the rest of the backs across the field.
Give the mark, you get on the mark. You need to go on the outside of him, not on the inside.
I'm not sure how much of that Yannick Forestier understood.
Does he speak Welsh?
Crouch!
Here we go. Third time lucky.
Tom Court up against Anton Pekrishvili on this side. But it's gone to ground again. It's another penalty.
Well, they'll go for another scrum. And one more down, one more penalty. Normally, they go dancing underneath the posts for a 7-pointer. John Afoa just goes, yep, I want more of the same. I've got him.
Well, Forestier there was pleading with Nigel Owens' assistant on the far side.
If you get that from the scrum and do that again, we'll go for 10 minutes.
There you go. You just said it, and Nigel Owens just said it. You do that again, appeal for a decision, and you see it so many times, it's a yellow card or whatever. He's pulling down. I make the decisions, pal. Good refereeing.
Well, after having spent almost 36 hours getting here, I suppose it's entirely predictable that Nigel Owens might be a bit tetchy in the first 25 minutes.
Derek Bevan, the old TMO, my old mate, said we'll make up for it tonight, though. Oh, no.
And all that work has come to nothing.
See, this is where I again disagree. Because you've been going forward, you've just got 2 penalties, you've been given going forward a reset, so that's 3 in a sense. And then just 1 against it.
And that kick there from Pierre Bernard really held up in the wind. Useful player, Bernard. More at home at 10 than he is at 15. But remember, they're resting Brice Dulin. Romain Toulet, who is forever associated with Castres, a man who regularly, season after season, produces 250, 300 points. Haven't seen him for a while, expecting to see Toulet retire actually at the end of the season. He's another
Robocop, isn't he? I think he's just seizing up. He's got one more year left.
Oh, and it's lost again.
Okay, 2 knock-ons. First red, second grey.
So it will be a Castres put in.
Well, we've seen Pienaar drop one, an easy one. We've seen Wallace drop another. Just not quite going Ulster's way at the moment.
Well, it's a change. Ian Henderson is coming on. Off goes Roger Wilson, so Roger Wilson's return to Stade Pierre-Antoine. Not a happy one.
Henderson can play second row, as we all know. I'm looking down to see if I can find out from the facial expressions what's happened to Roger Wilson. It looks, there he is. I think it's a hammy or something. I'm sure there's going to be ice put on the leg there. Doesn't look good. That looks good.
Well, Robbie Dyack has moved to number 8, with Henderson occupying the number 6 role. Here is Matthias Rollin. Cocker. Out to Tales, missing out Vandenberg, out to Seremaya by. The little grubber through meant for Garvey. Across came Paddy Wallace. Well, the match has got all the intensity that we expected. There is Henderson.
Straight in on the act, that's what you need. Direction for the forwards, for the rest of his forwards. And looks a pretty good box kick as well.
Easy to gather though for Bernard.
But again, good play. Good play from Henderson, setting out the ruck. Good decision from Marshall and 9. Popped the ball a gain of 15 metres or so. There's Cockett putting the ball in. Which one was that from the free kick, but that's picked up by Vandenberg. And this is the chip through from Bai.
Yes, Seremaya Bai has been a great servant of French rugby. Both at Clermont-Auvergne and most recently here at Castres. Been here for 3 seasons now. There's Marshall, just stabbing it down the touchline.
Good play. Things aren't happening too well to keep cohesive in the midfield at the moment. I'm sure that will come as the game goes on. 9, I like it, taking the responsibility. I'll just snipe round the corner again. This time I'll grub it through. Good box kick before, good grub through, all right. Giving possession away as the line-out, but you put it forwards in a good position to have a go at the cast line-out.
Yes, Paul Marshall scored 2 tries in the round 1 meeting between these sides. He got the Man of the Match award. Rallier finds Roland. There's Pedri Vandenberg. Cocker just getting past the referee. There's Lamara again, and he was hit hard that time by Allen. And the ball went forward. That was good work by Ulster.
It's the rush defence, it's the risk and the reward, and that time it was big reward for the Ulster man from Allen. Good decision. Thought there was an obstruction by the referee. There's the tackle. It's got that gone quick. It's gone off camera. There you go, the try scorer. And that's Allen making a decision. If you make that decision, you've got to make the tackle, and he made it. Dislodged the ball, and now here's a position for Best and his boys.
Scrum is outside, okay?
Ulster's only defeat this season in the Heineken Cup, when they lost by 10 points to 9 to Northampton at Ravenhill. And that is why they find themselves here, requiring not only victory, but 4 tries to be certain of a home tie in the quarterfinals. They're already in the final 8, but they want that home draw.
And this is where Marshall's pace could frighten defences. I think that might have to be reset. No, it's not.
Pinard. Cave offloading it. And the ball eventually going into touch. Now whose throw will it be? It will be Ulster's.
One thing with Nigel Owens, he will not be put off by the crowd noise. Like I said, Marshall's pace could have frightened them on the right-hand side. They've cut back to the left. And again, it's quite not as slick as you've seen the back play normally from Ulster. Pinard normally plays the last 10-15 minutes at 10. He started this game at 10, and at the moment, not going full well. Mind you, they haven't had a great deal of ball. Been under the pressure, been under the big power game of Castres. But it's coming back. You just see glimpses coming back into their play.
Well, the throw straight over the top, and it went to Evans. Here's Bai. Garvey with a little bit of space. Straight into Trimble. And once again, not for the first time today, Ulster wasting good field position. Trimble. Straight downfield. Found Bernard, maybe a chance to counter again here. Out to Max Evans. Evans just bumping off Allen. Castres still 3 or 4 metres inside their own half, but the ball has gone forward.
Ball has gone forward. Vandenberg is saying, I can just see him as Max Evans makes the break and does the show and go. Mr. Mallon just gets himself in an awkward position. Just watch Evans go down. Presents the ball. Well, it's gone forward from his knee and his foot, really. It isn't, but the touch judge is giving it. And this is Marcel Garvey. Two decisions there. Trimble again, a bit like Allen before, to come in and hit the man. And then Henry's put his body on the line so far. And so much work in this first half. He just slowed the ball up. And that's what you need to do if you're under pressure. You get in there, try and get on the wrong side. Don't give the penalty away, but just delay that ball to cock it for 3-4 seconds to get your defensive line back up.
Touch, set.
7 minutes to half-time, 7 more minutes with the win behind them for Ulster. They've got a penalty. It's a very important period of the match.
Well, that's one area of play they've had the majority of success. Been scratching around for ball. Pienaar plumps this into the corner. That's a good kick. So the boys, that's why Rory Best, he's made 3 mistakes now on the line out, 2 not straights and 1 over the top. So that's why they go in for the tight phase, the tight game, and it's working. Going forward, marching forward. And if you're marching forward like that, you're going to get the pen.
Despite the depletions to the Ulster squad because of injuries, still 10 of their starting 15 from last season's final are involved today. One of those 10, though, starting for Castres, Pedri Vandenberg, and again problems, and that was a gift. Christoph Samson, the man who claimed the ball in the line out there for Castres, and they will be warming to their task here.
It's okay, you're still moving.
Normally so good. The line was pretty good last week against Glasgow, but again, that's 4 mistakes, and that's 4 good field positions lost.
There's Matthias Roland looking for support, and there was some obstruction, and there's a penalty to Ulster.
And that much momentum, I couldn't hear. He broke out, he had a guy in front of him obstructing the ball, obstructing the player, couldn't get to the man, there was no communication. He's asking Cockett, where was McCall? Help me out. This is a good old traditional French drive there, like a centipede going forward, and then the guys are still driving. John Afoa getting in the way. This should be a given for Pienaar. Right in front, the wind should be with him, doesn't matter. Good strike as he did last time, 8 points to 6, we hope.
Well, his kicking percentages in the Bravo Direct Pro 12 in the mid-80s, that's world-class stuff. On target already once today from out wide. And that a good deal more comfortable. And the deficit is narrowed to 2 points.
Travelling supporter enjoying that. I'm sure John Muller will be enjoying it, but there's plenty of work to go. You can see Humphreys in the cage to his left. They've weathered a bit of a storm here, which is good. A storm that's been hitting the south of France for some time. They've had it cold in Britain. We've had a lot of rain, a lot of moisture. Luckily, no rain so far today. Conditions are saying, apart from the wind, almost ideal.
The restart claim by Robbie Dyack. Henry out to Pienaar. Half charge down by Tales. There's Pienaar again. Onto his left foot, and that one not out of the middle. Taken by Evans. Here's Rory Cocker. Long pass. Oh, and Vandenberg spills it.
Two South African fly-half struggling at the moment. I'm going to call Vandenberg a fly-half, but you know what I mean. He's taking the ball at first receiver a few times, and Pienaar not preferring his left foot to his right.
No knock on there, just off the body.
The posts, you can see the wind buffeting the posts. And Ulster will take that.
Yes, you don't need to adjust your set. Those posts are moving. When we woke up this morning in Castres, there was all sorts of debris over the roads. A bit warmer than it was yesterday. The temperature's sub-zero in this part of France yesterday, but a little bit milder today. But rain this morning, and still that ferocious wind which picked up overnight. Here goes Marshall, kicks it through.
all you got to do. Another great scrum, solid scrum from the Ulster 8. A little bit of a right wheel there allows Marshall to come out and do the correct thing. Get the ball down their end. They've got to come out and play. So, again, they'll be quite happy. 8-6 going into half-time. A couple of minutes to go. Weather a bit of a storm. I'd take that. I'd take that.
Problem is, it becomes a very different game, doesn't it? In the second 40, you'll have Remy Thalès kicking for the corners in the second 40 with that healthy wind. Rallier finds Christophe Samson. Samson, a veteran of 2 top 14 finals, one for Clermont Auvergne. And then last season, when he played his final game for Toulon, and they were beaten by Toulouse in that final. Cocker. It's held up in the wind. Trimble and Garvey going for the same ball.
It's interesting. It becomes a very deadly kick, that isn't it, when it's held up. Ulster want to play, but Nigel Owens has done none of it.
Okay. Knocked off Gray to touch. Scrum or line.
2 good wingers going up there and just come off Marcel Garvey's right knee. So it should be an Ulster throw.
Not me, it was him, said Garvey. There he is, Marcel Garvey. Moved to France after 10 seasons in the Premiership, evenly split between Gloucester and Worcester. 33 Premiership tries, but only 1 try so far this season for Castres, and that was against Ulster back in round 1. Final minute of the first half, and I think it would be fair to say it's not a 40 minutes that has gone to script
they want
for David Humphreys.
They want a pen. You know exactly what they're doing, and it's the right thing to do. The clock's going down. You've got 1 chance probably for another score in this half. You've got ascendancy in the scrum. Hit in hard and let's go for it. And Nigel Owens wants another reset. Probably give a free kick to Castres now.
Drive square. If he comes up, you'll call. If you force him up, it'll be against you.
Castres do have plenty of ballast on the bench, the likes of Joe Takori, who these days plays rather more of his rugby in the second row. He's lurking. 2 big props, Samani Tamopiao.
Yanni Ballman as well. There you go, there's the pen. Mr. Pienaar.
Down.
There you go, Anton Pekrishvili. He really has been put under pressure today by Tom Court.
What we can see from that from our French host broadcasting this to you. A couple of big guys going down, but Nigel Owens said, and correctly so as far as I'm considering this, that the power has been coming from the Ulster 8. They've been marching forward, and Pino gets another chance of 3.
There's the youngster, Mathieu Babiot, just 19. So the last action of the first half. The final Saturday in pool competition in the Heineken Cup. What a cracking afternoon it promises to be. And that one slips wide. And there goes the half-time whistle. And Castres will be very happy with that first 40 minutes. They've got the only try through Rémi Lamara. That man, Ruan Pienaar, has slotted 2 penalties, but still an awful lot of work to do in the second half for the men from Belfast.
Yeah, Castres are a pretty tough nut to crack at home. They have got the only try of that first half, an absolute belter as well, and they are still battling for their own European hopes. Ulster with issues to address. That late penalty slips wide, and as they're losing, hopes of a home quarter-final perhaps slipping away as well. Work for Ulster to do. Hellier today is a first ever Heineken Cup quarter-final. 2 match points should do it. A win will certainly confirm it. Toulon already through, of course. 1 match point for them will guarantee a home quarter-final, and we're getting underway at 20-4 for that one here on Sky Sports 3 HD. 2 games at the halfway mark at the moment. Let's take it straight to the Scotstoun Stadium, where the other fixture in Pool 4 is taking place, and it's Northampton who are fighting to keep their European hopes alive, trailing for the majority of the first half, but well done, Don Walduck. Try went up, the decision went upstairs to the TMO, but at the base of the post, good enough. and the try was awarded. So Northampton leading there by 10 points to 6, and at the moment that is enough to send them into the Heineken quarters for now. It's Ulster who are through, of course, but they trail, and that therefore means that their home quarter-final is in jeopardy. Castres and Glasgow at the moment will be done. So let's have a quick look at the top 8 as it stands, and as we said, Northampton up into 8th, but still very vulnerable with a number of games still to be played. Ulster still holding on to that home quarter-final spot for now as well, but they too could lose that depending on other results. And at the moment, the victory for Castres will send them into the Amlin quarterfinals at the expense of Biarritz. But 40 minutes to sort it all out. We're going to talk Ulster first of all, though. They're lacking a bit of clarity and a bit of precision.
Certainly,
in that first half.
Certainly precision. You know, it's more balls down than I've seen them probably the whole of the year so far, and they've been very consistent in the league. Last week we saw, because of really bad conditions, the handling wasn't great, but again, there's a bit of weather conditions at play here today. It can be sometimes more difficult to play with the wind at your back from a handling point of view. So hopefully their handling will improve in the second half, but they have been imprecise, a lot of ball down, and if they continue to do it, it'll be difficult for them to get the scores.
Yeah, Castres with the try, and they're still fighting very much for their own hopes, but an absolute cracker.
Yeah, you talk about a little bit of confusion. Does Pino have a bit of confusion about him playing 10 and who's playing 9 and the roles you then play? Then that might feed into dithering and the occasional error, and it comes off a Ulster line-out in good shape. Nice ball. Pino spills it, drops it down, and one of the keys that Dean picked up here is as he drops off screen, you just sort of, I'm just going to go back a little bit there. Haven't got a great shot, but all he does is he now drops really deep, goes back and plays what a scrum half would do, or a fullback should do, or the wings are dropping, or the number 8s are back there. Instead, as a fly half, you then should be looking after your forwards. You can see he's disappeared. And then up this short side, again, just back a little bit. He's found himself on the outside. They are absolutely fine for numbers. 1, 2, there is nothing that Max Evans should be able to get away with here. But as you roll it on, where's he looking? What's he stepping in there for? Then you roll it on full page. Max Evans is away. You just watch this for brilliance. I'm going to take that back again when you see something like this and let you watch the back flick out the back of the hand, right-hand side. It completely scuppers Cave, who's in there, who starts appealing to the referee going, what on earth just happened there? Forestier runs off, Lamorat scores, and so with it, they lose a 5-pointer. And as they play he's just going to trot over. Well, we know he scores. We chat about the rest of the game. As he goes on there, it just feels as though they weren't quite there. Are we taking the points? Are we not taking the points?
I think that captures the whole thing. We talked before about the need to win away in France and smash that sort of psychological barrier. But at the same time, you look at their decision-making, particularly around the option for scrum, is they're believing that Saracens have an opportunity for a 5-point win. So a win in Castres isn't enough. They know they need to get a bonus point. So they took the decision to go to scrum, where they've got a huge amount of ascendancy. Tom Corton best, against Pickrishvili is just causing mayhem. You can see the way they can almost drag this off. But then they go for the penalty choice and the indiscipline to go out of the blocks too early. Then they take another choice, they kick for touch, and they miss the line out. So they're caught, and we said before, they have to smash this French psychological barrier, but they also are aware that just to come through with 4 points doesn't change them as top of the group. Yeah.
But win it. My argument is you don't know what Saracens are going to do tomorrow. Yeah. Get that win, break the French duck, do something, get the 4 point. Don't worry about the bonus point before you've won a game.
Have they got the leaders to sort it?
I think, I'm not sure. They haven't got, they're missing Jackson, who has been a leader, but Pino has been such a strong leader for them from 9. Marshall as well is going to be a big leadership role for him. He moves the ball away from the ruck really fast, and we're going to see that more in the second half. I think, though, the key is the scrum, because there's a potential for a yellow card. They have totally dominated the scrum. If you look at the back row of Castres, they're bouncing up as soon as the ball goes in, so they're scrummaging effectively with 5. That's the potential for Ulster to go after, and they can, down to 14 men, all of a sudden tries can happen.
40 minutes left in Pool 4, a lot still to be resolved, but Ulster at the moment not going their way. They need to take this one by the scruff of the neck, and they have never won in France. Only 2 points down, let's not panic yet, but big names missing, big experience missing as well, and perhaps their best is absent too, but they are still very much in touch. Leading at half-time in Pool 4, we are underway once again at the Stade Pierre-Antoine. Work for Ulster to do, and it's back to Dowie Morris and Martin Guinea.
Well, Ulster's record in France in the Heineken Cup, played 14, Lost 13, drawn 1. Draw 13 years ago. There's Darren Cave. Worth making the point, though, that Mark Anscombe does know what it feels to lead Ulster to victory in France. It was his first game in charge, a friendly game down at the Stade Jean Daget. Oh, and here's a chance. Evans feeding the ball into Pekrishvili. There's Cockett. Onto Samson. Cockett looking for the support. Out of the back of the hand to Jeremiah Bai. 7 metres out here, Castres. Samson's in there. Alongside him, Rallier. There is the hooker, Rallier. Time now to go wide. Jeremiah Bai. Oh, here's an opportunity. Banner out to Garvey. Vandenberg was the first man on the scene for Castres. There again for Cockett. Out to Bai. Pekrishvili. Bai again. Well, what a start to this second half from the French side. Cockett. And this time, Marcelelli is penalised.
Tackle was made, okay? No problem.
Scrambling, defending for their lives also as they did at the beginning of the first half. Fassieli coming in there. He's held by a forward. He cannot do that. Sometimes you don't know you are held. Your national inclination is to get up and to go again, but that's just relieved a little bit of pressure from Ulster. They're under it. Came from a charge then. It's all this guy's work at the moment. Cockett, the South African. Ball out the back to Jeremiah Bai. Big, strong. Targets for forwards. Everybody was running into gaps, running into space. And they got 67% possession in the first half. That's what Ulster were up against, and it's just started again in the second.
See how Rory Best goes in the line out. More problems. Rallier has it. Tom Court trying to drag him into touch, and he did well there, the loose head.
Off red, grey ball.
It's off red, grey ball, but again, that's the fifth penalty that I can count that has come from a line out. And they're just gifting this at the moment to Castres. They can't get any field position. Best doing pretty well just to get there and stop the ball coming out, but not well enough to stop Rallier throwing this ball into the line out.
Yes, it was the captain, Matthias Rollin, the 33-year-old, who stole that. That's Rollin again. Thalès. Lamara, the try scorer, the former Toulouse man. Thalès. On to Bai. There's Marcelelli. Running out of room over on the far side there. Thalès. There's the youngster Babiot. Thalès, a little chip over the top. Lamara's after it. Marshall was covering across.
Good work from Marshall, sweeping up like a scrum half, but again, he couldn't no other option than to go in after the tackle hit him. Thalès putting the ball up. And Lamare, the try scorer, shovels him into touch. It's all hands to the pump. I said in the first half, the second half has started again, but Ulster missing 9 tackles in that first half. They've got to shore their defence up.
Yes, Remy Lamara is a quality operator. He was getting starts for Toulouse a couple of seasons ago in the top 14. But not really enough for a player of his quality. Up against the likes of Florian Fritz, Jan David, Yannick Josion. There's Babiot, Cockett, Rallier. Well, they've really got the bit between their teeth. They have the Frenchman. It's gone forward. Referee says it's a fair contest.
And again, Nigel Owens won't worry about the bird as he's getting from the crowd, and it's slightly different, isn't it, to that round 1 game. It's Ravenhill, 41 points to 17, 4 tries. Pienaar getting the 4th in the 80th minute. Cast a different animal at home. Proud record, and I agree with Will in the studio. They don't even bother to think about the bonus point. They've come into this game with one thing and one thing in mind, Ulster, is just to win it. If it comes along, yeah, fine, but you've got to win the game for us. These are no mugs. These are fourth in the French 14. Lost once this year to Toulouse at home. On a bit of a run at the moment with that loss to Northampton, and obviously Grenoble away, which they should have won, to be honest. They didn't, and again, it's the one thing Ulster have done well to this afternoon is that.
More of the same.
The penalty.
Beg your pardon, Dowie.
No, carry on.
And there is Yannick Forestier, who has been in reverse most of the afternoon.
And we'll listen to the referees talking to the captain.
I will make sure that they drive straight, okay? And they are driving straight. You are collapsing out every scrum nearly. If you go down again, I may have no option but to give you 10 minutes a yellow card. Is that clear? He's keeping straight, and I'll keep him straight. If he isn't, I'll deal with him, but he is. You need to keep up now. You're going down with the pressure. Thank you.
It's a tidy telling off. But you can see what is happening. It was interesting that Forestier was under pressure in that first half, coming off straight to the referee, going, can you watch this, can you watch that? As soon as that happens, that suggests to me he's under pressure. Nigel Owens knows that, John Afoa knows that. He's had him on toast all afternoon.
And Afoa has forced him out of the game because he's been replaced now as Yannick Forestier. On has come Sarmoni Tomopio.
Big lump comes on, but again, I think the right decision. The coaches, you know, Travers and Lebeat would have heard that, and they just say, if you do it again, you're off. So they're down to 14. Get a new guy on, and at least it gives him 3 or 4 scrums before the warning comes again. Look at that, he's minced, absolutely minced.
Well, Tomopio may be a big lump, but he's a former All Black lump. Marshall fumbled it, it went forward.
Come on, the Ulster boys, you've got to sort this out, or you're going to gift this to Castres. That's the 5th. Line-out actually worked well that time, but again, it was fired at Marshall's feet. Scrum maybe need to get a little bit closer and sweep the line out. But really, it wasn't Marshall's fault. He just knocked it on, but it was just absolutely hammered down in it. But again, they're so frustrated they're not getting any good ball from the line-out.
There's a man who knows a bit about some of the dark arts of rugby. Gert Smal, in his days back in South Africa. Now, of course, here in his role in Ireland rugby. Cock up with the pudding. Once again, the power comes from Ulster. Tales is spinning through the first tackle. That was Dyack who was over the ball. Henry's been penalised.
Release quicker, and you don't take the nylon from the side, through the gate.
I think Nigel was just wanting to get that ball away from the scrum. Slightly better from Castres, but the second shove pushed them really back, but the ball had come out. Penalty against the combination of Henry, who's done some pretty good work trying to slow up this avalanche of ball that Castres are getting. You see Dyke, the South African there, so over top that pulls the man out of the way, and then Henry's just in from the side. Ball wasn't quite out, but this is the other scrum. Tomopio, he's the 17 that's come on, and that's going forward. And for me, well, that was advantage Ulster.
Still more than half an hour to go here. Losing bonus point for Ulster today would take them to 20. Now, that will leave them resigned to an away tie in the quarterfinals, although an unusual sequence of results tomorrow, and I stress unusual sequence, could still see them finish as 4 seeds, but it really would be a long shot. They've come here anxious to seal the victory, with the cherry on top being that 4th try and the 5th point that would guarantee the home quarter-final. That is what Ulster are looking for. They're already into the last 8. They know that.
They can look at it, and I'll take my words back, but they're not getting it. It's just the way that Castres are, and this home cauldron that they produce in the crowd, and it's a fearful place to come.
Jeremiah by. And it's worth making the point, when they lost here to Toulouse at the end of December, Castres did score the only try.
There's the boy again, over top of the ball. Jeremiah by actually made too much yard then, if that's possible. He just went so far away from his support and his runners that Henry could just get in, and they couldn't get to him, so he got a penalty for holding on.
Well, it was the left hand of Marcel Garvey on the touchline. They're on their feet on this side of the ground, but Let's see. We're looking for the left hand of Garvey.
It has. His elbow has touched the whitewash. If he touches the whitewash, that is out. It's the correct decision. Travers and Labit, the coaches down there, are going absolutely nuts. Doesn't matter. There's a line out. Hooray!
Henry, caught by Tales. 7 metres inside the Castres half. Marshall on to Dyack, and there's some obstruction.
Right, I need the two captains out, please. Time out.
So much good work. The first line out from, I can't remember when they got one, and you can see what you can do off it, straight up the middle, and then it's too fussy, too clever for Marshall. Obstruction.
Okay, for fences, scrum, everywhere, okay? It needs to stop now because the penalty count is not going to mount up like this. If people don't start listening, there can be no option but to go off. Is that clear? Yeah, please go.
I think Nigel Owens is getting frustrated with all the penalties, all the appealing for penalties and whatever, and I agree with him. Not a great deal of captains can do about it. It's just frustrating for Ulster. They haven't got a platform off the line-out. Once they have, straight into the midfield, a target, everybody get there, and then a penalty given away. They wanted to play the two-pot system, one left, one right. They're not able to even get that going.
Neil McComb was the player penalised that time. Well, here you go. This is testing the wind. And to give you some sort of idea of what this wind was like in the first 40, well, just before kick-off, Rory Cockett was attempting to kick for goal from left to right as you're looking, and from that range to the right-hand side, he was falling about 5 metres short. And he's certainly a 50-metre kicker, so he's working on the basis that the wind here is probably worth 7 or 8 metres.
So are you saying he's going to get this or not get it? Because I bet you a glass of Vin Rouge he won't.
What I'm saying is, I think he thinks he can get it. He's given it a mighty whack, and it was certainly long enough.
See, I told you he wouldn't get it. Wow, that was a hoof. There is a slight advantage. You wouldn't want to be sailing on a day like this. Goodness me, hit that. And he knows it's just gone. He knows he's hit it superbly. It's just gone slightly to the left of the post.
Bernard onto Vandenberg.
Here's the choke tackle. Henderson's playing well. Henderson's done so well since he's come on. At the heart of everything.
Nobody has to release. The ball is formed. Scrum down to another ball.
There you go.
So the Ulster scrum, certainly one element of the game where they've excelled today.
Seems to be an Irish thing. You've seen them doing the colour of Ireland, the colour of Munster, the colour of Leinster. And now Ulster, they're at it. Ball is still up. Henry again, he's there. Body and heart for the cause. Henderson, like I said. Andrew, diminutive little terrier.
Yes, before Remy Lamara in the first half, he was the last Castres player to score on this ground in that game against Toulouse. So there is a reshuffle. Garvey's moved over to the right wing. Max Evans into the 13 channel, and Andra in his specialist position on the left wing. Marshall. Gilroy. Marshall back to Pinar. Missing out Arfoa. Here's Best. That's the halfway line. Pinar again. Little offload there, and it was Dyack who knocked it on.
That was about 4 or 5 phases of play, which are very good phases of play. Just dropping the ball. Henry charging his troops with just, let's give us some ball, get us some ball.
Well, looking forward to 3:40. The all-French affair. There is Johnny Wilkinson arriving for what is a massive occasion for Toulon. Just a couple of 100 miles away from, in fact less than that from where we are now, Montpellier against Toulon. Fighting for a home quarter-final. That's the Pool 6 encounter, kicking off at 3:40. That'll certainly be a very passionate and emotional affair, certainly following the sad death earlier this week of Eric Beshu, the former coach at Montpellier. Here's Lamara, the try scorer. The offload to Evans, and Andreu had stepped off his wing. So the two diminutive figures, on that occasion at least, not on the same wavelength.
Again, the power is coming through from the Ulster pack. That time, though, Cockett gets the ball away. Lamare and then Evans, who's done some good work in that first half. Sleight of hand this time, just misjudges his pass to newly on Andreu.
8 points to 6, 27 minutes remain at the Stade Pierre-Antoine.
This will be up in the air, I'm sure, and Trimble to chase.
There it goes, Trimble's after it. Andreu waits. Had plenty of time. Bernard, the fullback, sends it back with a fair deal of interest. That was a terrific catch from Pinard in the wind, ball coming over his shoulder. Cockett has called for it, and it's gone backwards, according to the referee. That was well dealt with by Pedri Vandenberg. Showing plenty of strength as well there in the contact. Thalès. Here comes Gilroy. Takes it on the run as well. He's caught by Rallier. Marshall. Henderson. The ball is lost. Gathered by Lamara.
Good little break, but we've got to take the ball with him.
Bernard. To Mopio. Rallier, the hooker. And he's stripped. And that was terrific work there from Lewis Stevenson. Castres still have it. That is Lazar, the mighty Romanian. Castres having changed both props now. A little chip forward, end over end. That's good. Puts pressure on the Ulster throw.
That's what you can do when you've got an experienced 9 in an absolute armchair ride. Big forwards and mashing up. Gilroy, we haven't seen much of him. I think that's about his second break again. Starved of ball, starved of possession. Doing well. And this time Cockett left foot. He thinks maybe I've done it too much. You haven't. You've done it absolutely perfect. So again, with all the wobbles and the jitters and everything that's going on in the Ulster lineup, Rory Best won't be fancying this one. They'll put the squeeze on, I'm sure. Ulster have closed it down to 4-man. So might be going over the top to Henry.
So the new man on, Thierry Lecramp, who we understand is on his way to Clermont-Auvergne next season. That's how highly he's regarded. Rory Cockett's job is done.
Interesting to see that Pinard's gone straight into 9. Jackson's on the field at 10.
Ulster have it. There's Jackson. Gilroy, he's got real speed. Who will ever forget that try he scored against Munster last season? There's Jackson again. On to Dyack. But they're still on their own 22 here at Ulster.
It's okay as long as they keep the ball. I think Pinard. Dear. Getting a bit of their own medicine now. Port shakes his head. It'll be interesting to see how Pinard goes now at 9. He hasn't sort of fitted in that well at 10. I thought he'd probably do better.
So Glasgow now in front against Northampton. 13 points to 10, the latest score from Scotstoun. That is the impact on the table. So Northampton dropping out. So as things stand, it is Castres moving into second place. And here you can see the top 8 as the young man Babio goes off. And Castres have now taken their place in the top 8. Still very early stages, of course. This just the second round of matches of 6 over this final weekend. Much to happen. All left to go this afternoon. We're down the road at Montpellier. Montpellier, Toulon, those two sides fighting over a spot. And then, of course, Leinster's challenge to try and stay in the competition. There's Lamora. Tales missing out. Berner, here's Ondra. Well, Ondra ducked below the tackle there from Cave. The crowd don't like it, as they want to do here.
Just keep the cool now. Bernard has been in there, Lamoureux's been in there. I think it was Henry that's come across and did something. There you go. Touch judge and the referee will sort it.
He's pointing to his eye, isn't he?
Well, Nigel Owens, an experienced referee, just calm things down. 13 red has been given. I saw Cave come in.
Okay, 13.
It's what happened after.
Yeah, he's going for the high tackle on Ondra, and it's quite a tough call, really, when you look at Marc Ondra, because he's not the tallest fella. And Cave was coming across at speed, and Ondra ducked into the tackle, didn't he?
It's up to our French broadcasting friends to show us when they will, but Cave will be told off.
No malice in it.
There you go.
It's just a reaction more than anything, and that's why it's just a penalty this time. But come here, I have penalised advantage early on. If I have anything up here again, accidental enough, there'll be no other option but to maybe go. Is that clear? Back you go.
There's the movement of the ball. Andre Trimble's jumped in again. It is a penalty, as simple as that. Trimble makes it. Cave have to make that tackle because he's jumped in. Tony Wallace goes in. We're not going to see it. The incident with Henry, but anyway, they've got more important things to sort out first.
Rallier goes to Samson, and here's the drive. It's gone to ground. Taken on again. There's Samson. Varsalelli. Macron, the new scrum half, looking for it. There he is. He tries to pop it up to Roland, and there was a hand in there, and that's good defence from Ulster.
Robbie Dyack, great pressure, super pressure.
And Pinard gets the clearing kick away. Marc Ondra rather lost his bearings there.
What a hoof from Pinard. This is it. Plenty of time, the guys, and he's just gone through, and the man, ball dislodged, and Rory Best pounces so many times like an extra flanker for Ireland and Ulster. Just knows where to be at the right place, the right time, and they needed him there at the right place at the right time then.
Well, what a way to start this final Saturday in pool competition. We're here in Pool 4. Two very tight matches up at Scotstoun. Glasgow against Northampton. The last we heard, Glasgow in front by 13 points to 10. It's 8 points to 6 here. Ulster have already won the pool, but there is still a home quarter-final to be played for. But you have to say, so far things not going well for Ulster. Castres just getting into the picture. It's a slim hope they have. Tellez for the attempt at the drop. Well, that was a little optimistic.
Optimistic, but again, it makes Ulster hit out from their 22, and I've got a great theory on this. If we see the attempted drop goal, and I think that if you miss a drop goal from that range or from wherever, you should come back from a scrum, have an Ulster put in. Because what happens is it becomes almost a negative way of playing by taking the clock down and having a speculative go, knowing that Ulster have got to go back there, but that's for another day.
Your end of the lesson, eh?
It's not a lesson, just my personal view.
There's Lacroix. Vandenberg. Having just his fifth start for Castres.
Lost now, red.
He's had one game this afternoon, is Vandenberg.
Bit of a fumble there from Lazar. Lamora getting himself in trouble. Neatly picked up by Garvey, but he's caught by Trimble. Inside now the final quarter. Tales. Straight running line. He's caught by Stevenson. Taken on by Yanni Bourneman. Bourneman is a player reborn since he's come here, really on the periphery in South Africa. Played in the second tier of rugby in England, but so often a first pick here at Castres. There was Vandenberg. Lacroix. Out to Bernard. To Mopio. Inside. Oh, and Ondra is coming through, but that was telegraphed and well read by the Ulster defence. There's the hoof from Gilroy. Ball hanging up in the wind. Good catch from Bernard. Jackson. Important that he impresses. He's had a fairly quiet couple of weeks for Ulster. That's why he started on the bench. Pinner.
A slight ankle problem, didn't he? Last weekend, but he's come off. Is that crossing? He's got away with it, Gilroy.
Great little offload to Wallace. Wallace steps in field. Eventually he's taken down. That is the Castres 22 though. Here goes Court. Pinard, of all his positions, it's certainly scrum half the one he prefers. Cade going to ground right there on the 22.
Pina had to get back in there and wreck himself because again the forwards with their own.
It's Jackson. Chance for Jackson. Important tackle coming in. And Remy Lamara has also turned it over, so he scored a try, and that was a vital tackle for Castres. And Remy Lamara showing what a quality player he is.
Possibly saved one.
Bernard from inside his in-goal area, despite the best efforts of Pinard, gets it away.
Much better from Ulster though. You see what they like when they can keep the ball in the hand, they can control the ball. Frustrations all around, shrugging his shoulders, but it's the first time. I think that's the third break now. Okay, Craig Gilroy, and then Wallace can just come back at an angle, targets all over the place. The forwards love this. Pina there now, he's hunting the ball. John Afoa in. That's what they need, more of that, more possession. Starved of it in the first half. 23% or 27%, I think that's all they had. Much better in the second half, even against the wind. But 20 minutes to go, 2 points, no score so far. Wallace on at 10, as you said. I think Pina is used to playing it now, played most of the season at 9. Plenty of rugby to be played so far.
Well, here's a change at hooker. Brice Mac replaces Marc-Antoine Rallier. We've got Paddy Wallace stepping in at scrum half now. Pinard. Inside from Jackson. Advantage being played, it doesn't come. Knock on off for an Ulster hand.
Good ball from Robbie Dyack at the base, at the back of the line, and again you can see what happens when it's good quality ball. Best ball to have, back line out ball. Your backs can flow. Wallace back inside of Trimble. That's a great tackle from Tales. Had to be made. Trimble again, limited possession today.
Well, I think I overheard Nigel Owen saying there that the stadium clock is not correct, which is running simultaneously with the one that we see on the screen. So perhaps we shouldn't put absolute credence into that time at the top.
They're a launch of themselves, aren't these French? And do whatever they want to do. How dare they?
Stay 9, okay.
Good out from Vandenberg. Taken back into the 22. Bernard finding some space, straight downfield. Gilroy comes scuttling across.
Red, keep moving. Keep moving.
That wind has certainly died down a little in this second half, so the elements working in Ulster's favour.
That's a good kick. Good clearing kick.
Paul Bonfont comes in the centre, and he replaces the try scorer, Remy Lamara.
The last line out, Castres the throw in, the Ulster guys didn't jump, didn't compete. Well, Stevenson fancy a go. Combe. Not really.
Well, winning round 6 matches is not Castres' specialist subject. They've won just 1 in the last 11 years. That was when they beat Wasps here 4 years ago. 21 points to 15. Trimble. Gilroy. That was Allen. Bit of space here. Out from Wallace. To Cave. Has it come back for Cave? It has to Wallace. That's super play from Ulster. Pinar. That was to Jackson. Arfoa.
18, white, yes, okay.
Advantage being played here to Ulster. Trimble.
Advantage.
Well, we're going to come back for the penalty.
Great play from Ulster. Again, you can see what they can do when they can get some ball, get some possession.
Where is it? Your shot?
Take the penalty, take the shot. Straight in front of the post, even with
18.
the wind coming against you slightly, even though, like you said, Martin, it has dropped a bit. This should be food and drink to Pinar. And he seems more comfortable at 9, doesn't he? Things just start happening, getting that ball away.
Oh, that clock is
Different
off, right?
side with the ball in hand.
Well, it was a tired prop, I think, who found himself offside there. Miguel Lazar, the Romania international. The upright still wobbling just a little bit. Pinar makes no mistake. And Ulster lead by 1.
Here's the first point of the second half. There's a bit of fortuitous luck from Cave back inside to Wallace. Combination working there. Wallace have to put the speculative pass back inside, otherwise he's going out to touch. Allen does well, does very, very well. Like I said, first points, but it puts them ahead.
Well, if Ulster win here without a up to 23, that'll mean the best they can hope for is 4th seeding, and it'll certainly see them turn their attention to the 2 matches tomorrow in pools 1 and 2, which are both capable of producing winners who can leapfrog Ulster. Court trying to feed it back.
That's got to be coming from an offside position. Pinar not getting the ball from Court. Court doing so well. He's done so well this afternoon. He's scrummed up the scrum, putting the power in.
Yes, if Ulster do get 4 points today, they'll go up to 23. Now, Saracens up against Edinburgh tomorrow on 18 points at the moment. Well, a 5-point win tomorrow, in other words, victory with 4 tries, would take Saracens up to 23 points. And they, if we assume they get the bonus point, will mean they get at least 4 tries. Well, they would move ahead of Ulster. Toulouse also in a similar position. They're on 18 points as well, but of course they're up against Leicester at Welford Road. Still not over here though. There's Ondra. Little stab through. And with the wind, it beat Marcel Garvey, but it's going to put pressure again on Ulster.
They'll take that, as Ulster are a different side when their line-out's functioning, so are Castres. That was a good scrum. Big, strong, tight head side. Lacrum can do the double round. There you see it. Ondra just pushing the ball through. Garvey just chasing, he's never going to get there. There's the thumb up. Pressure time, pressure time. This time it's the line out. This is where Rory Best has wobbled today. And kept to 4.
He needs a sure throw here, his best. Great work again at the front of the line-out from Castres, and that was Priest-Mac. Lacrombe. Well, there was an Ulster hand in there. The referee's happy with that. Away comes Best, up to the 22. Pinar in position. Jackson. Oh, what a terrific break. Wallace looking for the offload.
Big kick downfield now, that's the way. Chase, Trimble's chasing.
Well, as bodies get tired, the gaps are starting to open.
Well, did they get away with it? It doesn't matter. Nigel Owens was there. Castres will get the throw into the lineup, but that is a, 85-metre gain. Just when you need it, just when you're getting tired, as you say. Here they come round the corner. And is this at the situation? The ball goes.
Knock it back is fine, he didn't knock it forward.
There's the crumb. No, he's taken nothing there. He's actually knocked the ball on. Doesn't matter. They played advantage, and Rory Best, as ever, up and at him. One quick ruck, and then Pinar take control. Game changing. We will see.
There's It's now the turn of Brice Mack to feel the heat. It's Roland again. Grant. Lazar. To Mopio. Marc-Andre there just shrugging off the challenge of Tom Corn. Still inside their 22. Bernard. There's Trimble. Gilroy. In space. And certainly that wind has really died down in the first half. That would have been held up.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant kick from Gilroy. The big press from Castres, come up with a massive line. No option, but he had to hit it absolutely right. And he did. Playing in the right areas of the field, putting the pressure on. 12 minutes or so to go. That's exactly where Ulster want to be.
Well, the latest from Scotstoun, George Peacey has got a try for Northampton. They beat Glasgow by 15 points to 13. So Castres out of the top 8, and now Northampton are in there. There you can see the top 8. Good news for Northampton, still early days of course. This is the first of 3 matches today. We've got 2 rounds again tomorrow. I say 3 matches, the first of 3 rounds. And of course the next turn and twist in the tail will happen down the road at Montpellier. Montpellier against Toulon, kickoff 3:40. Johnny Wilkinson's Toulon against Montpellier. Both sides in with a chance of still winning that pool. Here's Vandenberg. Joe Takori is on for Castres. Ulster have the lead. Oh, the charge down. And it goes back into the hands there of Lecron. That was the hand of Paddy Jackson.
Big Ulster press now. They'll be pressurising whoever kicks this ball out.
It's Tallez.
That's not bad. Just up to the 22. Pressure there, still the right area. Big Joe Takeri, big Samoans on. Crowd favourite. He's a second row on his own, isn't he?
And if Ulster come away with a win here, it will be a very significant achievement. 15 matches on the bounce. Castres won here until they lost to Toulouse just before the new year. And remember that Ulster have come here without the spine of their team. 2 injuries last week. Nick Williams, Jared Payne, to add to the likes of Jan Muller, Stephen Ferris, Tommy Bowe. It remains to be seen whether a win will be good enough to take them through to a home quarter-final.
Well, it's out of their hands, but if they get the win first, that's all they can do so far, and then it's up to the likes of Saracens to see how they're going to play. They're a good side, aren't they? They only lost once in the Rabbit and Munster, once to the Saints. We know all about that after beating them quite convincingly.
Oh, Jackson's throw! Oh, and it's stolen by Andre, and that has made all the difference. And now Castres are after it. Back goes Trimble. Well, Wallace just got the pass away in time, but Trindle's under pressure, and look at the grey jerseys. It's Vandenberg, the former Ulsterman. And there are numbers out wide here for Castres. Takori, there's Brice Mack. Lazar. And the ball's gone forward. Well, bit of a cliche I know, but it's end-to-end stuff.
And who's done it? It's that man, Chris Henry, captain on the day. How much work has he got through? One end you think he's going to go through. Jackson makes the break. Allen gets taken off the ball. One pass, the smallest man on the field just gets in the way. Andre, big hoof upfield and all the pressure. Alarm bells ringing. And Wallace puts the ball back to Trimble. Even more problems. Vandenberg is up. You can see there's too cute by far. Should have just gone out and taken your medicine. Gives it to Trimble. He can't do anything with that other than get tackled. And you'll see Vandenberg in a minute. Coming over the top of the ball. There he is. and sweeps to the right of the field, and luckily for Ulster, that man, the Belfast-born Chris Henry, saves the day. Joe Takiri. And here it happens.
7 minutes and a half, 7.5, just under 7.5.
Well played, mate. Well played.
Well, Nigel Owens is saying that there are just 7.5 minutes remaining, which tends to say that that clock is out by something like a minute. So, full time, I reckon it's going to be just short of 79 minutes on that clock.
Okay, right. I've got Thomas Castres laughing his head off on the left-hand side here.
As if we haven't got enough
we
on
don't
our
know what's
plate.
going on exactly.
With all the permutations, we've now got a clock which is playing
Good
up.
scrum though again.
Jackson to Wallace. With a big gap over on this side.
Makes up for it. Paddy Wallace. All those that experience. 30-odd caps for Ireland. Right place again, the right thing to do. Jackson didn't fancy the kick. Give it to Wallace, bit better angle. Do they dream? We'll have to see again. The scoreline stays the same. It'll just be 4 points. We'll have to see how the results go tomorrow. But I think to come here, and like I said, to expect a victory would have been about as much as they could get. You know, four tries, an extra point would have been I think they'd be in fairyland.
Yes, Ulster 12 tries, which will be, or could be, a key element of the calculation tomorrow. Saracens 5 points behind at the moment. They've got 10 tries. You have to consider that they will need to add 4 to that to get that 5th point. So, as things stand, Saracens will be licking their lips and thinking, hey, we need a 4-try victory tomorrow, and that could, well, earn them a home quarter-final, although Toulouse may still have something to say about that in the final game at Welford Road. A foul.
Chris Henry is superhuman. He's absolutely super. I think he's half cyborg. He's just ripped a ball off Vandenberg when he had no right to.
Gilroy almost got through. Back to Pinner. Here's Dyack. Two South Africans linking up. And the presence of various South Africans in this Ulster squad has played such a part in the emergence of the side as a European power. Great little offload there from Andrew Trimble.
There was a great bit of play there from Best going back in field. That's forward. That's forward and off the field. The crowd get very animated around us. Like I said, Nigel Owens won't care a jot. Saying Rory Best coming back in on the angle just to give his forwards a target, or his rest of the 7 forwards. 5 minutes to go, he thinks. Pienaar fancies a shot. Correct decision again. Take a minute to do that, down to 4 minutes. You're in the right area of the field because they'd have to drop out. There you go, Andre's a yard ahead.
Well, it's 20 points to 15 now up at Scotstoun. Glasgow have got a try. So the impact on that is that now Northampton are out of the top 8. Leicester back in, and remember, Leicester play tomorrow against Toulouse in a pool decider in the final game. So 20 points to 15 at Scotstoun. Glasgow now leading Northampton. Here at the Stade Pierre-Antoine, Ruan Pienaar to take the Ulster lead up to 4, and he's played the wind superbly. Oh, I thought he had. Well, he had played the wind all right, but maybe just hadn't given it quite enough.
Again, superb kick out. This is what it's given for. It's Joe Takiri giving the penalty away. Initially, the forward pass came after that. But they're up to the halfway line. I'm not sure what they're all appealing for. Was it touched? Well, it's a bit further. They wanted an extra yard. Pedri Vandenberg, man of the match. I can't disagree. There's another guy in red with a 7 on his back. Chris Henry, that I think has just been phenomenal and outplayed even Vandenberg today. And Vandenberg's been pretty good.
Yes, getting only his 5th start for Castres. If you believe the rumour mill, not entirely enjoying his time in France, but that may well have changed things for Vandenberg.
Great tactic from the Ulster forwards, tight. They'll get this ball out, box it. Again, playing in the right areas.
Garvey comes forward. It went forward off an Ulster hand. So we reckon that clock is out by about a minute. And Garvey is down, and clearly in some discomfort. There is Pedri Vandenberg. I reckon we've probably got, what, about 2.5 minutes left, I think.
Get your timepiece out of your pocket and tell me exactly. There's the back row. Chris Henry. Vandenberg, man of the match. Garvey's down, he's moving, he looks all right. He's just taken a bang. More precautions will be taken. 3.5. Did I hear that, Nigel Lindsay? 3.5? Might be about right, wouldn't it? 2.5. 2.5, hey! Anyone else?
So according to the clock, it'll be a 79-minute match.
No, 2.5.
But Ulster leading by 9 points to 8. That is one thing we're certain of. And that will be enough to take Ulster to 23 points. Within touching distance of a home quarter-final, but not quite. The likes of Saracens and Toulouse in position to steal that from them, though, of course, Toulouse, well, they have to beat Leicester tomorrow. Otherwise, they may be bowing out at the pool phase. So still, so many different permutations.
And I think if you'd have given Mark Anscombe a win down here before the game, he'd have taken it. I think without a shadow. With all the players out, the key players, the Williams, Muller, Tui, Bow, all the massively experienced guys, you know, it's been a tremendous effort from these Ulster boys.
Their 15th game in the Heineken Cup in France. Could this be the day they record their first victory in France in the Heineken Cup? La Crampe, there's Bournemouth. And the referee saying that La Crampe is the guilty party. Through the middle, that's fine, says Nigel Owens. Joe Takori's having a few words.
The Crampe goes there, Court goes through the middle. I didn't think you could allowed to play the scrum half. Obviously you are. Joe Takori doesn't agree, doesn't matter. Nigel Owens has made the decision. A little bit of luck. I think you can tell from their reaction what they feel. But the clock ticks down. 4 points is theirs. Or have Castres got something up their sleeve? But again, the way the Ulster scrum has gone, this should be nice and solid. Pino rolls it in, options all over the place. You could box over to the right bottom corner, or to Jackson to hit up with the likes of Cave or Wallace.
But that's working the Ulster way, isn't it? Because as we understand it, we're now about 10 seconds away from full time. So all, well, they're now saying the clock is correct, apparently, so all is changing.
Doesn't matter. I tell you what, we won't start talking about the clock. It's about Ulster and their performance today, from a forward to Best to Court, the 2 second rows that came in, Stevenson, McComb, done a great job. Henry, well, I've said enough about him. They've all played their part. Henderson, who's come on, Dyack, that's where it's come from. Pienaar started at 10, back at 9. I'd like to see him at 10, but again, I think he's a better 9 on today's performance. So the powers come there. They just need to close this clock down now, Ulster.
That was Dyack with a pickup. Pienaar. Henry, one of the Ulster heroes today. Caught. There's another.
It's the left and right pod. Left up your hit, right up your hit, left up your hit. That'll be okay.
That's enough.
It's a knock forward from Cast.
Lost on with you as he tried to intercept. Scrum, red ball.
80 minutes is up, another minute for the scrum. Come on, Big Ben, where are we now? I think I can confidently say I think it's going to be an Ulster victory. This should go in the scrum. Those boys take a bow. You deserve a cold beer tonight. This should go in and go off and into the bath.
And Castres' poor run in round 6 matches ends, or continues I should say, as we look at the Ulster fans there celebrating. Not quite the celebrations they may have been looking for, but when you consider the injury list, really, that was almost beyond reasonable expectations. On the verge here. And this could well bring the final whistle. It does from Nigel Owens. And on the 15th occasion that Ulster have played Heineken Cup rugby in France, they've got the win. It has been a tremendous performance, hard fought. And the boot of Ruan Pinar in the end, making the difference. Castres lose for the second time on the bounce at Stade Pierre-Antoine. Well, it's never an easy place to get a result here, but that's exactly what Ulster have done. Significantly, though, it comes without a bonus point, which means they don't know yet if it's good enough to give them a home quarter-final. For followers of Ulster, it promises to be a long and torturous weekend.
Yeah, a hugely significant victory for Ulster. Well done to them. Done in adversity with the big names missing, but that is exactly what they wanted. We'll take you through the details of how that affects things in the top 8 in just a moment.